One of the most important things you can do in life as a young man is find your balance. Balance applies to every single area of life, and it's something that will seriously fuck you up if you get it wrong. Work-life balance. Now, I've said in the past that I don't believe in work-life balance, but why is that? It's because a large contingent of people believe work is a bad thing and that they have to avoid it at all costs. They're out of balance. What's going to happen to them is because they're avoiding work like the plague, they're never going to make enough money to get themselves in a position where they can actually enjoy life properly. In other words, work is not a bad thing. It facilitates you being able to live the life that you want to live. It's necessary. Now, the opposite end of that spectrum is there are some people who are so deeply enthralled in the grind that they don't spend time with anybody they're close to, and they don't take time to enjoy the fruits of their labor. Sure, they might be rich as fuck because they constantly work and constantly do in the financial realm. But if you don't take your girl out every now and again, if you don't show off to your friends and family a little bit, if you don't enjoy the fruits of your labor and go places and experience things, you're gonna live a very miserable existence. You're lacking balance on both sides. So what's that happy medium? Have the capacity to do the work that you know you need to do to get you where you want to go, but also have the capacity to enjoy the fruits of that labor, the success that you've always wanted. It's a balance. You gotta be able to do both. It's nuanced, and people don't operate that way. People are very black and white. Relationships is another great example. We've all seen those videos, and we all know those guys who have become spineless, starry-eyed nice guys who let their women walk all over them. We also know that most women don't necessarily like that dynamic, but a lot of men have taken that pendulum and swung it too far in the other direction, and now they're acting like they're King Kong and they're in charge of the universe, and they're treating their woman as such. She don't like that either, man. So what's the balance? She doesn't necessarily want to be in the driver's seat, but she doesn't want you to be a dick about being in the driver's seat yourself. Be kind with her, be gentle, be understanding, be able to support her whenever she's feeling down and lift her up a little bit. But also have your boundaries and your standards and the shit you won't put up with. In other words, don't be a dictator, but don't lose your spine in the process. It's a balance, and it's very hard to strike that balance oftentimes. You can take a very simple example of fitness. You have to train. You have to make sure that your body performs and that you feel good and you're in good health. But you also don't want to train so insanely much that you kill yourself with rhabdo because you're training all day, every day, nonstop. By the same token, you don't want to be a fat, lazy piece of shit. You want that balance. And I can go on and on and on and on about the different areas of life that you can find balance in. But the big three, your health, your wealth, your relationships, I think those are the ones I want to stick to here. Find your balance. And that's the other thing, your balance. Your balance might not be my balance. Your balance as far as work to life is concerned, it may be that you want just enough to get by and live your life and then have fun on the weekends. And that's your balance. Whereas my balance might be more, I want to be in a financial position to where if I don't want to have to work for a little bit, I don't have to. And I can go places and do things and I can buy cool shit. Some other people, they want to be so far on the other end of the spectrum that they love the work, and the work itself is what brings them happiness. That's their balance. You need to figure out where you're at. You need to figure that out with your relationships too. What kind of balance are you striking with your partner? This gets a little more complicated because there's another person involved. Figuring out what you want but also what your partner wants is the whole point of dating to begin with. You need to figure out whether or not you two are compatible, if your balances line up. Same thing goes for your fitness. I train 7 days a week, but I have my body on a rotation, so I'm not hitting the same muscle groups every single day. Gives me a good amount of rest between each set. Some people like to train 4 or 5 days a week. Some people like to train 3. Some people like to train 2. The point is, you need to figure out what it is you want, and you need to go out and get it. But you don't want to throw yourself out of balance trying to get it, because that's going to eat at you. And eventually, you're going to give up because you're overexerting in one direction or the other. Find your balance. And once you do, stick to it. Adjust it as time goes on, because things do change as you get older. But never lose sight of the fact that there is balance in all things. There is nuance in all things. It's not just black and white, man. Understood? Awesome. Get after it, kick some ass, find your balance. I'll see you next time.